Are you serious? Are you serious? We have a prophecy alert. A prophecy alert. Vice President Mike Pence has just announced today, as he just gave a speech at the Knesset in Jerusalem, he has just announced that the U.S. Embassy will be moved to Jerusalem at the end of 2019. I repeat, the U.S. Embassy will be moved to Jerusalem at the end of 2019, fulfilling a promise by President Donald J. Trump. And certainly this is a prophecy alert. Reports are that U.S. Vice President Mike Pence said today that the United States would move its embassy in Israel to Jerusalem by the end of 2019. In the weeks ahead, our administration will advance its plan to open the U.S. Embassy in Jerusalem, and that the United States Embassy will open before the end of 2019. Pence said, addressing the Knesset and Israel's lawmaking body in Tel Aviv. Jerusalem is Israel's capital, and as such, President Trump has directed the State Department to begin initial preparations to move the embassy from Tel Aviv to Jerusalem. There was standing ovations going on at the Knesset as Mike Pence was giving the unbelievable standing ovation, and the first time ever that a sitting vice president has ever given a speech in front of the Israeli Knesset. President Donald Trump parted from decades of U.S. policy, some say, by announcing that Jerusalem is Israel's capital and setting in motion the process of moving the U.S. Embassy to Tel Aviv. But the truth is, in 1995, the U.S. Congress voted that Israel would be, that Jerusalem was Israel's capital, and that we would be moving our embassy to Jerusalem. It was signed into law by William Jefferson Clinton, but he delayed it. He put a waiver to hold it back for 6 months. That waiver continued every 6 months throughout the rest of Clinton's presidency, all of George W. Bush's presidency, all of Barack Obama's presidency, and the first chance that Trump got, he wavered it, only to set up this moment, this defining moment, on December the 6th of 2017, when he declared that Israel's capital is Jerusalem and that we would be moving our embassy. Now Mike Pence has gone to Israel, has addressed the Knesset, and has set the timeline. We're moving the embassy, and it will be done by the end of 2019. Now, in the Bible, it says, there was given me a reed. This is Revelation 11, verse 1. Revelation 11, verse 1. There was given me a reed like unto a rod, and the angel stood saying, rise and measure the temple of God and the altar and them that worship therein. But the court, which is without the temple, leave it out and measure it not, for it is given unto the Gentiles, and the holy city shall they tread under foot 42 months. The Gentiles will participate in Jerusalem, and I will give power unto my 2 witnesses, and they shall prophesy 1,260 days, clothed in sackcloth. All right. These are the 2 olive trees, the 2 candlesticks standing before the God of the earth. Now, we're starting to get into this situation where the 70th year of Israel, 50 years that Jerusalem has been unified, declaration of Jerusalem now Israel's capital, it's being recognized, and the fact that the Americans are moving their embassy to Jerusalem. Now, back in 2013, I had a vision from the Lord on May the 19th, 2013, while in Jerusalem, and I seen a mighty prophetic events coming upon the city of Jerusalem. I got up that morning very early and I went to the Western Wall. I went to the Wailing Wall and I prayed. And I came back to my hotel after doing a short video there, which I posted on YouTube, explaining the vision I had. And I came back to my hotel room that day and began writing this book, Jerusalem Jihad. I wrote the first 17 chapters of this book that day. I didn't leave the hotel room. I was so under the anointing of God. And Jerusalem Jihad, okay, a powerful, powerful account of what's coming upon the earth and coming specifically upon Jerusalem. I'd like to read a passage of this book for you. You can only get this book at my website. Just go to my website. You'll find it there. It's Jerusalem Jihad. But this is what I wrote. In Revelation chapter 11. There was given me a reed like unto a rod, and the angel stood, saying, Rise and measure the temple of God, and the altar, and them that worship therein. But the court which is without the temple leave out, and measure it not, for it is given unto the Gentiles. And the holy city shall they tread under foot 42 months. Israel also released the remaining Palestinians, of course, and gave them, releasing them from Jewish jails, the final act of a compromise that was viewed as an act of good faith by Israel. Palestinian President Mahmoud Abbas signed an agreement first. Then Israel Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu signed it, followed by the New World Order United Nations Secretary General Barack Obama and the World Council member John F. Kerry. Also, Prince Charles of the British Empire signed it, and he was followed by a World Federation President Tony Blair. Also, Angela Merkel, who served as the chairperson for the European Union, signed the agreement, and she was followed by King Abdullah II of Jordan and the Arab League, who was also over the Arab League. Finally, Pope Francis I of the Vatican closed out the signing ceremony with his signature. The signing took place at the Wailing Wall in Jerusalem. The plan was to build the new temple of the Lord, and in 7 months it would be completed. For the building has already been constructed in a prefab factory in Tel Aviv, and Jewish senior rabbis have preserved the golden furnitures and vessels and the red heifer ashes. The nation of Israel has waited long enough, and now peace and safety has come to Israel. It was time to rebuild the house of worship. I wrote this in 2013, it even talks about the 12 heifers in the stalls, the different things that they're doing to prepare. Now, a lot has happened since I wrote Jerusalem Jihad in 2013. A lot has happened. But the same players on a global stage are still out there. Yes, there's a new president now with President Trump and Mike Pence, the VP, and they're making major history by making the declarations. But the same people on the global New World Order agenda are still in play. They have different positions. And they're no longer maybe in positions of U.S. government, but they're in positions of world influence. This is all coming together quickly, folks. Get your heart right with God. We're running out of time. Big move here. Mike Pence announcing today that the United States Embassy is moving to Jerusalem. And folks, this will open the door for the building of the third temple because it solidifies Jerusalem as the capital and brings everybody to the realization. Even the train station they're building right at the Wailing Wall to be so that you could get off the train and go right on up to the Temple Mount to the new third temple. This is what the plan is. They are already building the train tracks, headed in that direction. They're going to build a brand new train station. It will be done in the next, I believe they said within the next 3 years, 4 at the most. It's called the Donald J. Trump train station, and it will bring the people to the Wailing Wall and to the Temple Mount right there. It's going to be a massive train station, the Trump train station. It is being built. It's been approved, and it's to bring the people there to worship on the Temple Mount. Whether you're Christian and you want to walk around, or if you're Muslim, you can worship in the Al-Alas Mosque or the Dome of the Rock. Or if you're Jewish, you can go into the Third Temple. Plus, there would be a museum built there as well for for tourists to go in and learn all about the Holy Land. That would all be on the Temple Mount. So what you're witnessing now is the stages of biblical prophecy, bringing you ever closer to the fulfillment of the scriptures that Jesus said would be done, and that down the road somewhere, the Antichrist walks into that temple. I don't know when. Could be 25 years after it's built. Could be 25 months after it's built. We don't know, but we know that now things are going quickly. So if you're not saved, you need to get your heart right with God, because we're running out of time, and no man knows the day nor the hour that the Son of Man is coming. And whatever you do, you don't want to be left behind. I'll be back with more current world events and how they relate to biblical prophecy. Again, if you haven't gotten my book, Jerusalem Jihad, I'd recommend it now, big time, because the things that are written in the book are coming to pass unbelievably. Are you serious?